Hey guys, you're welcome back to the channel. So in today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to cut a princess dart. So basically we're just going to get right into the video. So I'll be using this Ankara fabric now and I'll be using it to illustrate both the front and the back, how to cut both the front and the back. So this is actually beginner friendly and this is all you are going to be needing for this tutorial. So go ahead and open up your fabric into two, just as you can see me doing. So the length of this fabric is 16 and a half, and why it is 16 and a half is because the half length I'm working with is exactly 15 and a half, so I added extra 1 inch, which should be my sewing allowance. That is why I have approximately 16 and a half or 16.5 on that part. Now having done that, now what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to be using this for both the front and the back. So I'm going to roll out 2 inch here, which will serve as my back zipper allowance. So the only difference between the front and the back for this drafting is just the zipper allowance. The neck is going to be the same, but if you want the neck of yours to be different, you can go ahead and make it a different neckline. So I'll just go ahead and fold in my zipper allowance like this, as you can see me doing. So fold in your zipper allowance like this. So you can actually just use this partner to cut just the front, but I'm going to be using this to illustrate both the front and the back. Alright, go ahead and measure your shoulder divided by 2. So for mine I have 14 divided by 2 and I went ahead to mark 7 on that part. Now I'm going to go ahead to locate all the points I'm going to be needing. So the chest point for this, or the bust point, is 10 inch. So 2 inches above your bust point will give you your chest point, which will be 8 inch. So that depends on when you have gone ahead to confirm that on your client's body. Then the under bust will be needed for this. The under bust is 14 inches, and then the waist is on 15, but I'm going to be adding, using the hem of this as my waistline, which is 16.5. So now go ahead and straighten up these lines as you can see me doing, then I'll label it. So that's my chest line, this is the bust point, and then this is the under bust, and then the last line, which will be the hem, will serve as the waist. Now again, my shoulder divided by 2 is 7, so I marked that already right there. Now repeat that same measurement on this part, which is the chest line. So I'll measure that same 7 inch and connect it to my shoulder point like this, so that I have a straight line. So once I'm done with that, now what I'm going to go ahead to do now is to measure my shoulder slope. So for this I'm going to be using 1 inch for the shoulder slope of this. So I'll just go ahead to measure down 1 inch, use my chalk to indicate, then go ahead and take my round neck measurement. So I'm going to be using 3 by 3 for this drafting. It's just the basic neckline for a round neck. So 3 as the wideness and 3 as the depth, then I'll connect it like this. Note that this is a beginner friendly tutorial and it is actually a freehand sketch. So now from the neck part, connect it to your shoulder slope. So if you have a ruler, you can go ahead and use it so that it will be easy for you to make these lines straight and connect it. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'll be using my nipple to nipple measurement. So the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with is 7 inch. So 7 divided by 2 will give me 3.5 inch. So I'll be adding extra ½ inch allowance to this in order for me to use it to join it back. So 3.5 plus the ½ inch I'm adding, that will give me 4. So you can basically see me marking 4 inch on that part. So I mark the 4 inch on the chest line, on the under bust, on the bust point, and then on the waist. Then I'll connect it together like this. So basically I just marked my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus ½ inch. Now I'll make sure to confirm that I have that measurement round on all parts. So once I'm done with that, now I'm going to be working on my armhole. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll go ahead to measure what I have after my shoulder slope, that is the midpoint of that. So I had 7, then half of it will give me 3.5. Remember, it is from my shoulder slope downwards. So what I'm going to be doing next is I'll go ahead now to work on my armhole. So for the armhole, before I work on the armhole, I'll definitely go ahead and input my bust measurement on my chest line. So the bust measurement I'm working with is actually 36 divided by 4, which will give me 9. Then I'll be adding extra 2 inch allowance to this. So you can go ahead to add 1.5, it's actually fine, but I like to work with enough allowance. Then on the waist, I will mark my waist 30 divided by 28 divided by 4, which will give me 7. I'll mark that 7. Then I will add my 2-inch allowance to this as well. So you should also take your underbust measurement and connect, but because it is just a freehand, I'll just keep that part, and then I will go ahead and blend my armhole like this. So from the midpoint I have from my armhole, I'll just make a curve to blend into my measurement for the chest point. Now once I'm done with this, from that part you can see me touching, I'm going to create a curve into that part, just as you can see me doing. So just go ahead to blend a straight, not a straight or a curvy mark into the armhole, into the midpoint of your armhole. So this was what I had. Then you can see that I extended it at least with about 1 inch. This is because after joining there's usually a shortage. So in order to eradicate that shortage, I added extra 1 inch outside of my armhole. So I'll go ahead to measure that now. Outside my armhole, I have exactly 1 inch there. So what I'm going to be doing is now from that 1 inch I extended, I'm going to blend it back into my armhole. So just pay attention to see how I'll be blending this into my armhole back. So this is exactly how I'm going to be blending it. As you can see, I still have the same armhole. I just blended that one extra 1 inch I added into the armhole. So this is what the armhole parts will look like. Now go ahead to connect these parts together now. So use your ruler to connect from your chest line to your waistline slantly, following the measurements you have. So I'm not using my ruler here, I'll just use my tape rule to illustrate that line and then use my chalk to make it clearer. So this is actually what I had. So make sure your lines are as clear as possible so that it can be easy for you when you are cutting. So this is what the pattern looks like, and this is basically all. So I'll be cutting off this side first. So you want to be careful while cutting as well. So cut off this side. So this is the first part I'm going to be cutting. Now I'll be cutting the armhole. Then I will stop on the 1 inch extension I had. Just pay attention to see how I'm going to be cutting it so that you don't damage the whole thing. I hope this is actually clear. So from this part now, I'll follow the curve like this, just as you can see me doing. Then I'm going to stop on this part. So the reason why I'm stopping on this part is so that I don't mistakenly cut on other parts. Now from this part now, I'll just go ahead to cut that straight part here into my shoulder line. So I'll stop there like this. So you can see what I actually have popping up on that side is the extra 1 inch I added. Then I'll go ahead to open this part now, that is from the waist to the underbust part and then to the bust point. I'll open it up like this. So now I have this in 2 pieces. Now I'll go ahead to slant my armhole, my shoulder slope rather. So slant it, then trace out the neckline. So this is because the front neckline and the back neckline is actually the same. So I'm just using this to illustrate how to cover the front and the back. Like I said, the difference is just the zipper allowance for the back. So this is what it looks like if it is the front piece or the front pattern. So this is what you have for the front. It's not going to be splitted, but if I include the zipper allowance now, which is this 2 inch I folded in, you have to split this part into 2. So this can actually be used to cut both the front and the back piece. So if I'm cutting the front piece, I'll fold that 2 inch inside now, fold my fabric into 2 and just cut out. I hope this is actually clear. Then this can work as both the back pattern. So this is what the front and the back will look like, and this is how the princess cut will actually look like. So what is left is just to go ahead now to cut your lining pieces and then join this together with 1/2 inch. Thanks for watching, guys.